Peace.
Peace.
This is Joshua Law, Mr. PhD. You're just now entering the cipher called Real to Real 360. K-Wise.
Peace, God.
Bring that beat in, kid.
Indeed.
Peace.
Yeah. What's going on, party people? Welcome to the Real to Real 360 show. Let's get it in.
We do the knowledge and wisdom so you can understand. Real to Real 360 shows in full command. We changing the game for how it always taught. From bondage to freedom to an independent thought. Yo, the show is here to bring about a change for real. To lighten everyone so we all know the deal. 360 degrees is a fact. We created the show to give our love back to our communities so we can know what's going on and give them the support from knowledge to born. So if you're ready to learn, then it's time to go. Sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Peace.
Peace, and blessings. What's going on, peoples? It's your man, DJ K-Wise, a.k.a. Kato the Black Superhero. And I'm joined by my co-host, my brother in God, Mr. Joshua Allah, a.k.a. Mr. PhD himself. Peace and blessings. We'd like to welcome everybody to who? The Real to Real 360 show, indeed. Peace, God. How are you doing?
Peace to all, you know what I'm saying, all our followers, all our viewers, all our listeners on all different forms of platforms that we have. Livation Radio Network family, peace and blessings to all of you. I'm great, God, man. I'm just anticipating this day. Having a great show as always. You know what I mean? So what's going on with you?
Oh, man, listen, well, you know, I had to travel down towards the South Civ, and I'm actually here at the home of my old earth, and you know, with her situation, but I'm glad I'm here to be here and a part of her and maintain. So, you know, love is life, life is love, and family is strong when family sticks together. That's the main thing I'll say. And with that, saying that involves mostly music as well, because music can draw people together. Music can draw people apart. Music is like the ultimate of all things outside of the law of supreme mathematics. You know what I mean? And we got some comments already coming in already. Who's this here? We got?
Peace, true queen.
Peace, guys. Peace. Indeed. Peace, blessings. Thank you for coming aboard and watching. And if you have any questions, comments, you know, hit us up on here and we'll be able to answer you for the few going on. Ladies and gentlemen, before our guests arrive, we have two special guests in the music industry that you can call, some would call them ghosts, some would call them mystical, but they are alive and in full effect behind the scenes of major record companies, record labels, industry, the movies. I mean, there's nothing that these two gentlemen have not touched and graced on when it comes to blessing it with the art of music and its expansion. So we hope that you are going to enjoy this evening's interviews. And if you have any questions or relax and take notes, you know what I'm saying? And just enjoy the show. And we're talking about none other than two great dynamic behind the scene cartels, I want to call them. We have a Facebook user who just hit us up saying good evening, peace and blessings to you, Facebook user. You know what I mean? Thank you for coming aboard. We appreciate that. I'm talking about Eddie Levert Jr., you know, who is the son of Eddie Levert Sr. of the mighty OJs, you know, and the eldest brother of Sean Levert and Gerald Levert. May they both rest in power as they have. And you knew them from the mighty group called Levert. And one of those things that, you know, the power of music and family structure is dynamic. There's a lot of family who are behind the scenes when you have people up in the front on the cameras, you know, showing you their lives every day, but the focus point of how they got there is behind the scenes network with family and friends who have given that dedication, that drive, and that motivation to push you up front to make you do things. And I can accustom to that, man, really in my own life and fashion. You know, can you say the same, G?
Yeah, God, you know what I mean? A lot of times the things that are going on behind the scenes, you know what I'm saying, plays more of a major role than the things that are going on in front. So a lot of times, you know, people don't see the individuals that's pushing other individuals, that's putting a platform, putting them on a platform where they need to be. So a lot, like even with this, like we have individuals who work behind the scenes that push real to real 360, even though individuals just see you and our face, your face and my face. So we have to always understand that there's always, you know what I mean, a dynamic that's behind the scenes, that's pushing, that's about the business. So with this, you know, it's just dynamic. I'm anticipating Eddie Levert Jr. to come on so we can have this bill. I'm anticipating L.A. Jackson to come on so we can have this bill, because these individuals are behind the scenes. These are the individuals that you see that will be pushing soundtracks, movies, things of that nature. You know what I mean? So when you recognize, you know what I mean, that the powers to be, the hand that's behind the face, a lot of times, you know what I mean, you don't know. All you know is the individual on the record label or the record company face or what have you. But these are the individual that pushes these artists so that we can take our time and appreciate them for who and what they are. So just anticipating their arrival any minute now. You
Yeah.
know.
I can remember recalling myself growing up in my youth days, man, as a young one. And, you know, basic stories of most people, you know, started out in the church. You know what I mean? My father's Baptist minister, my mom's evangelist, all that. So when we started out, my family and I, we started out in the church and everything singing. I think I was like maybe about 3 or 4 years old, man, singing. And, you know, so singing, and not just singing, but my family is musically inclined. So we all play different instruments as well. And one of the things, one of the things, man, that we was compared to back then with my five, you know, my five brothers, all of us, aside from my sister coming in later, we were mostly compared to like to the likings of the Jackson Five on the block. You know what I mean? And you know, we would play their songs and sing their songs, and you know, just make it good. And everybody's like, "Oh wow, man, y'all sound just like the group and everything," you know. And so, the motivation for me was to keep going on in the music and everything. I would sing, man, when I hear the greats like Marvin Gaye, Barry White, Al Green, Teddy Pendergrass when he was with Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes before he went solo. Um, Voices like of angels like Miss Patti LaBelle, Aretha Franklin, uh, you know, Nina Simone, and even, you know, let's kick it back to the blues. Screaming Jay and Screaming Jay Hawkins and Howlin' Wolf. You know what I mean? Those blues cats and the real soul music back then just made such a positive influence on me to keep going. And then I had family behind me that would push me, yo, do this, step out front. You got this. You know, you have that type of personality to attract people and wow them over, stuff like that, you know. And growing up at first as a kid, you know, you playing around, it's just all jokes and whatever. And I just enjoy the music. I just enjoy entertaining. You know, I'm a people's person. That's the best way. My moms would tell you off the bat. I am a people's person indeed. So I thank my family. I thank a lot of my friends. I thank Livation Radio Network. I got to give big up to my man, our main man, DJ Strong, for encouraging us when I go down there and I'm in the studio, man. He's like, yo, I hear it. He's giving me his pointers,
Mhm.
criticism, whether it's good or bad. And once I learn, you won't be in the front, you have to learn what's happening in the back. You know? So with that, lessons like that kept it going and writing his act for me. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
again, that's something definitely we're gonna be watching. We got more comments right here. Ah, there he is right there.
Oh,
Talk to more.
oh,
You see him, right?
nah, I ain't saying.
No, look at the comment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Libation is definitely in the building. Um, right now, just wanna, let people know just anticipation. Um, sometimes we get into this position where we have guests that come on and they run a little late, so just bear witness with us,
Yeah.
and bear witness with us, and we will definitely have them on as soon as they get in. You know, but at this moment in time, just um, looking to reflect on. I just want to reflect on this year that we've been having, and how great of a year that we've been having so far, and the lineup that we have coming up that will definitely impact a lot of people. Which is
Mhm.
like tomorrow we got Judge Joe Brown. Um, we have the Lady of Soul herself, Miss Pat. We have Sir Rod coming up. We have a whole bunch of different individuals that will be on the show that will grace us, with their knowledge and wisdom, you know. So, but at this moment, I guess my partner is going to take him a DJ break, and
We just go, let the flow, man, of
you
music
know,
because we talking about people. You
you
know,
know,
Mr. L.A. Reid is known as what I call, and I've heard this being said about him. So that adaptation, I'm just gonna steal it and call him it himself, Mr. Music Musicology, Mr. 101, 2101. His books, he has several books. Um, Over the years, he's been so dynamic
mhm,
and almost everywhere he has gone in the music world, from either Sony to Polygram to Columbia, he's made a major impact with a lot of people, from like the likes of Mariah Carey, um, to background people like Jimmy Irvine and all the things. He's touched base with a lot of people, man. If you go down to 3 a.m. studios in
mhm.
Atlanta and you walk in there, you look on that wall, you will see the works. See, this is what I'm saying. It ain't just about talking and showing and proving. You will see major works of him with great artists on the walls that he has worked with. And that's just a smidgen. That's nothing about what he has at his house and home. You know what I'm saying? So big up to Mr. L.A. Jackson, man, doing this thing. Um, he's got his own marketing network that I'm sure he'll explain on later. You know, and so, but the best thing about it is, this is what we're here to do. We talk about the love we have right here at Live Radio Network. And to go off on tangent a little bit, there was some things that we discussed the other day. We had some disgruntled discrepancies, I should say, that we talked about it, we walked about it, and we handled it in the best manner possible. So without going into full bloom detail again, I like to thank fans. I like to thank negative connotators. I like to thank everybody, because what you do is just fuel the fire positively, positively. So all the negativity that comes is met with a stronger force that you can never even imagine. The positivity of the mighty God. So that's why we real to real. Not three, not six, but the whole 360. You know
you
what I
know,
mean?
I guess what I'm saying. The way the time is 15 minutes in,
Mm-hmm.
so I guess today, we're gonna do the real 360 our way, as always. When it comes down to, this podcast, this show, and everything about this show, we put our heart and our soul into it. Um, there's a lot of late nights, networking. There's a lot of late nights trying to build this platform. It's a lot of late nights trying to reach out and speak with individuals. Um, and of course, I take my hat off, to DJ Strong, to being patient with us, in the same process, because we're always we always is on the phone. We always conference calling. We always getting things together to make sure that we bring y'all a great show. Today, we had a show lined up. I guess the time frame or what have you is mixed up or whatever. But I just want to say, take this time out and say thank you to all our followers, all our listeners, and all the builders and the people that are in the community that's out doing their thing. We definitely appreciate the love that we receive. A lot of times that it's unexpected. It's truly unexpected. And without saying, a lot of times it touches us and I know I don't expect, a lot of times a lot of the love that we get is unexpected. Me and Kay talk about how a lot of times people will come on and just give us our flowers. So it's definitely humbling to say the least when we are on and everything like that. But it's definitely gonna be an impactful week this week. This right here is kind of threw me off, but we will definitely keep building. You know,
I'm not sure if that's the same one or a different one, but peace, Facebook user. It's all good. It's all good. You turn it down a little bit. Yeah, man, just to really put it on what we said, right now, to the fans and everything, we thank you as being echoed, and we appreciate you stopping by, taking out of your busy schedule and time to tune in to us. And, certain things happen beyond our control, and it's all good. And we will do our best to make sure that we bring you everything that we can the right way, strong way, peaceful way, and fun way. Entertainers, in this industry, people are busy. People are very busy. They got things going on. When they try to make and schedule things with you, some things happen, and we have to understand that. Tough love and everything, but we still got love and respect.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's about 6:18. I figured, let's take it to the halfway mark if we can. We talked about let's talk about some of the great things that did happen. First of all, I'm gonna break this music down. Within this month alone, was such an impact and powerful month. We have had 7 shows actually prior to this one, all in this month, and we're talking some shows that were back to back or one day to the next day, and however, but we manage. And so I got a message from the CEO. He'll be clicking in. So we're gonna hold that on. But yeah, and a lot of the behind the scenes works that myself and Josh and Mel do when we co-relate and everything is a lot of things that we try to bring. We bringing you new and different formats as we, progress in this stuff. Not saying that we're first timers, but doing what we're doing as a startup for how we looking at what we envision Real to Real 360 to be. This is our baby right here. This is our launch, and we doing everything to it to make sure that it is successful. Mm-hmm. Because it's being successful by us talking with the crowd, by the crowd responding back with us, and we're talking about community. Number one, we're talking about our people doing things rightly, coming together. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. I want to get this announcement from a law school in Mecca. At this time, peace to all the members of the Law's 5% Nation, the administrators for the programs and services at the Law Street Academy School in Mecca, the board of directors of the Law School in Mecca Office of Cultural Management hereby announces that they will be hosting the Universal Parliament in Mecca on Sunday, March 27th, in our schoolyard from the hours of 2 to 7. If the weather conditions on Sunday Our favor will hold an online Universal Parliament Zoom conference that will be broadcasted live from a law school in Mecca from 2 to 7 p.m. The address of the law school in Mecca is 2122 Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard, which is 7th Avenue in Harlem, New York City. So for all of those who want to attend the Parliament, that is the information for March 27th. The Parliament will be at a law school in Mecca in the yard from 2 to 7. So if you're in New York, if you're in the five boroughs, if you can travel from New Jerusalem, you know what I mean, stop in, you know what I'm saying, add on with the Universal family. Peace.
Peace, peace. And also, once again, support the gods and earth support. You know what I mean? We still got the fundraiser going on, and reach out and touch, you know.
That's right. It's $100 for 100 guards, you know what I'm saying, from 100 guards and earths, you know what I'm saying, to add on to getting the fabricated building in the schoolyard so we can have Parliament in the winter months, and we can have rented out for social equality at any given time. So those of you who are listening, please get in touch with Allah Mathematics and Divine Prince about donating to these projects.
Peace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Peace.
So we just sitting by, we just chilling right back. You know, our CEO's about to plug in a few minutes, man. So meanwhile, I'm gonna get back to the music. You know, take it back to the days. I don't know. You might be a little too young to remember some of these. Pardon. I gotta go behind the scene. I got a call. I'm gonna take paint potato this, and I'll be right back.
Right. Peace. You know, again, not to be stagnant or anything of that nature. This right here was unbeknownst to either one of us. We was anticipating having Mr. Eddie Levert Jr. on, also Mr. L.A. Jackson come on, and right now, you know, we still building, we still adding on, trying to make sure that we do what we need to do for this show today. Sometimes, you know, somebody dropped the ball somewhere. But just looking forward to also too, I want to say Happy New Year, you know what I'm saying, because we know the spring is the new year. And happy Earth Appreciation Month for us in the nation of gods and earth. Happy Earth Appreciation Day, on Earth Appreciation Month. Then also too, you know what I'm saying, I want to say this right here just kind of threw me off, but it's definitely building in process. Sometimes people just drop the ball, and I like this. I want to thank everyone who is being patient with us at this time, because we definitely appreciate all of you that's coming out, and we're looking forward to having great shows all week. So this right here is just a stumbling block. You know what I'm saying? When builders build, they always go through some things. So every time, you know, we look at different objectives, and we looked at different perspectives, then we're able to build on from that point. But we definitely not going to ever be stagnant. We're never going to allow nobody to put us in a situation where it's, please, who this? Oh, L.A. Jackson, one of our guests is just about to pop in right now, and appreciate, you know what I'm saying, his time. Definitely.
My back. Okay. All right. Peace and blessings, everybody. Right about now, without further ado, we're going to bring on one of our guests right now, Mr. L.A. Jackson, aka Musicology himself, 101. It is a pleasure and an honor to bring aboard such an enlightened one in the world of music. This man right here is a walking dynasty of music information. If it ain't coming out of his mouth, I don't think it's right and exact, because he's been there, he's done that, and he's still doing it. And like I said, there's a lot of people that's behind the scenes that all these great artists that you see, you say, oh man, the entertainment was spectacular. but you don't know the true work ethics behind the power force of people like this man in the background that made these things possible. So without further ado, I'm going to give a big salute to my brother, Mr. L.A. Jackson. Would you please come on aboard, my brother? Welcome to Real to Real 360.
Thank you, but first I have to make a correction to something you said. It's more like a walking dinosaur. Last of a dying breed. How y'all brothers doing today?
Peace. We're doing great, brother. How you doing today?
Doing well, man. Doing well. The weather's changing. We're going from old man winter into pretty girl spring. And the pollen is getting on cars, turning them green.
Right.
That's all in anticipation of another hot summer.
All right. So at this point in time, Mr. Jackson, if you don't mind, can you just give our people just a brief overview of who Mr. L.A. Jackson is? Because a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, they don't realize the moves that you make behind the scenes.
Well, I don't know where to start. I guess I'll jump in around the early mid 80s. Well, first of all, I've always been an incredible, just a music fan of all kinds. My family comes from Jamaica and we grew up in New York. So the first thing I was listening to was calypso and reggae. And then when we moved to Brooklyn, the doors was wide open as far as listening to music and enjoying music. So with that, when I graduated from high school, I followed my 5th grade teacher out to LA and took some broadcasting classes at LA City College. Found out that I really, really like music after a friend of mine gave me a keyboard. And it was one of those keyboards like Roger Troutman had, that made that vocoder sound. And so I changed my major and got into music, started taking music theory, all kinds of things like that. Mm-hmm. And then after doing some research, I found out that Georgia State University had a 4-year degree program, which was one of the first colleges to offer a 4-year bachelor program in music business. So I took that, and I didn't know I was supposed to wait until the, junior or senior year to start interning. So I immediately started inquiring about interning, and I got put with CBS Records and started interning with them. They asked me to come back for another quarter, which I did. And then they offered me a college rep position, and I held on to that for about 3 years. And just before I graduated from Georgia State, they offered me a full-time job doing merchandising as an account service rep, and basically just going to record stores, putting up posters, counting records, setting up in stores with the artists and stuff like that. So I did that for a couple of years, and I became friends with a lot of people at the company. And then one of my best friends, he was like my mentor and still is, but he was the regional promotion manager for Epic Records. And then he got a promotion. His boss got fired and they made him vice president of Epic Records promotion. And then after a while, Sony Music bought CBS Records and hired him to create a Black music division. And so he hired me to be the Black music marketing manager for the Southeast. And I held that job until the internet came along, and I was out of the picture by that point, because when the internet came, record stores started closing because, people were file sharing, using the internet to, trade music and get music and, all that stuff. So basically, record stores started dying out, and I had nobody to market records to on that level anymore. So they started trimming off a lot of staff and downsizing, and I got caught up in that. But fortunately, I always had a love for making music and the recording studio. And so I just went back to what I was doing before, the whole record label thing started, and got back into the studio, built a couple studios, and kind of learned all of that stuff, got into audio visual production. And so now is, running a studio plus setting up projectors and all kinds of stuff. But the job with the record company was definitely one of the best jobs I ever had, because I was able to do artist development, all kinds of marketing, taking artists to concerts, all kinds of stuff. So it was really a lot of fun. And hey, there's my friend DJ Strong, and one of the best people I ever met in the industry about 20 years ago was DJ Strong, and we were doing whole bunch of things, radio show. He's an expert with radio station management and production, and we just been really, really good friends. But yeah, I've had the pleasure and opportunity to work with just about every artist on Columbia Records, Epic Records, Portrait Records, which had Sade on it, Taboo Records, which had the SOS Band, Sherelle, Alexander O'Neal, of course, Michael Jackson, his brothers, Babyface. I could go on all night naming artists that cover my 10-year history with Sony and CBS. But just grinding, man, just trying to look for the next hit record, and hopefully through this endeavor that me and DJ Strong are doing here in Atlanta, we'll end up with a hit record of monumental proportions. We're working with some really, really talented artists, and I'll let DJ Strong go on and talk about that. But we're in a great opportunity now to really bust wide open on the independent level, and it's just been a pleasure. I've met you, KYs, through DJ Strong, so the power of this guy's networking abilities. So during the course of everything, I managed to write a couple of books. One of them is Musicology 2101, a quick start guide to music biz history. My second book is Musicology 2102, a quick start guide to diverse synergies. And basically, it's just the story of how music traveled with mankind through history and evolved to become a multi-billion-dollar industry. I'm working on the third book, getting that out. Hopefully this year will be done. I put out a compilation music CD, all of the books. I call that the Exposure series. We're working on a lot of different things, and it goes on and on. So I'm going to wrap up now and give it back to you and DJ Strong and my man, Josh Amel, Mr. PhD. I love that.
Yeah, well, before we jump right on it, I just want to say that, ladies and gentlemen, to all our fans right here that's listening, what we was talking about earlier, myself and Josh Amel, we was talking about the powerful people that are behind the scenes. And this man that's right down there in our corner that you see is DJ Strong at Livation. This is Livation. He is Mr. Livation. He's so behind the scenes, it's ridiculous. This man must have he must have like 45 hands. You understand what I'm saying? Each hand is doing something so quick and simultaneously. It's like, it's incredible. He's streamlining, he's talking, he's in all in one room. All in one room. He's making all this stuff happen and stuff. And then he gonna take the time out and be on the boards, making music, making things happen. And then he's gonna call you and tell you what you're doing wrong while he's still doing something. He say, I'm listening to you. Why you doing? Turn your levels up. Get it right. You know what I mean? And it's a blessing to have been introduced to him by way of Apex. Big up Apex. And now it's like it's an inseparable combination. I listen to him. His wise words and conference and consultation about music is very inspirational to me. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I present to some and introduce to others who do not know our homie, DJ Strong of Livation Nation family. Peace, my brother.
Peace. Hey, peace and respect.
Peace.
Hey, man, this show is not about me, man. I appreciate the accolades, KY's in. And much respect, and it's just mutual. It's about, for all of y'all out there, first of all, I just want to thank you, Josh Amel and L.A. Jackson, for being here tonight. And just thank me for letting me join y'all and hang out. I just came through to say what's up. This is all about L.A. Jackson tonight. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? Because he's present and accounted for. so we can focus on him, his accolades, and some of the things that he's done, because he has a life story that is mentionable. I have so much admiration for this man because the Musicology series that he has brought forth and given the world is filled with loads amount of information. If you have any, and you don't have to be musically inclined, you don't even have to appreciate music, but there's stories in here and things that you need to know that are life lessons as well. So this is something that is a very good read. This is what we're all about right now. We're trying to push content. We're trying to express ourselves through the arts. And this gentleman is a phenomenal author, as well as producer, as well as, you said it all. You know, he's an industry mogul of sorts. He has a multimedia firm that he's built from ground up that he made us a part of. So I thank you, LA, humbly, you know, for the opportunity to work with you and just to network with you and to build with you and to learn from you and to share with you. Because you know, you did something phenomenal. Last year we started a project with some of your blood relatives, Andrew Bees, the legendary Andrew Bees. And that was phenomenal, what we did with that. And for all y'all that don't know what I'm talking about, y'all just Google Good Trouble. It's on all digital platforms. That's something that we all came together to produce and bear witness to and give the world. So make sure y'all check that out. Andrew Bees and Scrap Lope, Good Trouble.
Yes. Big up Scrap Lope.
Produced by my man T Deuce. T Deuce did the music on there. He did a great job. And you know, something that we all came together and we put our energy into. And this is an example of L.A. Jackson. That's a byproduct of who he is. He's Good Trouble. You understand what I'm saying?
And incidentally, Andrew Bees, for the last 20 years, has been the lead singer of the first reggae group to ever get a Grammy, and that's Black Uhuru.
That's right. Speaking of the life and times of Mr. L.A. Jackson, I do recall walking down the hallways of 3 a.m. studios and looking at various pictures and things. There was one particular picture that stood up on the wall, and I remember a certain album cover that somebody showed me to say, hey, go in there and check this out. Who that look like? And I'm looking at the album cover, and I'm looking at your picture. I said, oh, damn, that looks just like LA. But could you, the story that I want to ask you about, if you don't mind, your time spent with the late, great, and legendary Isaac Hayes. Could you talk about that just for a brief moment?
Well, let's see if I can remember that far back. We were, I think, at the Hilton Hotel, but actually I met him several times, because before that dinner even occurred where we took that picture that's hanging up at the studio, I've got another picture that's not hanging at the studio, and that was, I think, around 85, 86, and for his first album, I took him over to Clark Atlanta University, WCLK, and you know, he got to meet and hang out with the people over there. And the interesting thing about Ike is that he, you know, his music is not just strictly R&B. It's on that jazz, soul, you know, so it's all over the place. And so his music, I'm sure at some point or another, fit in at not only Clark Atlanta, but many other stations that played Black music. And of course, my favorite all-time Isaac Hayes track, Shaft, lives forever right there. And, you know, so that was the first time I met him and hung out with him. And the picture that you see hanging up in the studio, it actually inspired a new project for me called The Story Behind the Picture. So I started going into the studio when it was quiet, when there was downtime, with a little camcorder in my hand, and started talking about, you know, the situation around that picture and how it ended up there. But Brothers Deep, you know, he's been around. He was one of the first Black artists living in Atlanta that we can say kind of sort of started the rush from other cities of other artists to Atlanta, but Isaac Hayes, Millie Jackson, and Peebo Bryson were among the first Black artists that I remember being in Atlanta. That he's been a phenomenal artist, funny as well, great sense of humor. And it's only now after he's gone that I realized that I really had a monumental moment, or several monumental moments with him, looking at his track record of all the music he's made. He was a voice or a character on South Park. He's been in movies. He's done a lot of stuff. And for me to actually shake his hand and be in a picture with him, it really is a heartwarming, situation.
Great. Now, can I ask you this? Outside of the famed or upfront performers in the industry, could you name some of the major mogul people you work with behind the scenes that have done a lot in the industry as well, that you've connected dots with?
Well, besides my boss, Jimmy Starks, who, like I said, was a regional promotion man for Epic. He was vice president of the National Epic promotion staff. He was senior vice president of the Black Music Division for Sony Music. But without a doubt, the Black Godfather himself, I was able to meet him, rode in a taxi cab with Clarence Avant from CBS Records headquarters over to the Apollo, where we watched Alexander O'Neal and Sherelle perform hits like Saturday Love and stuff like that. But it was amazing. I was in awe the entire time. I'm sitting right next to him, asking him questions, talking to him. And I would say meeting him was definitely one of the high points in my career, as well as, and I met Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis several times, but because they produced for most of the artists that were on Taboo Records, we had a Taboo Records night one night when we were in Vancouver, Canada, at a convention, and got to meet, them again. And, just meeting Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, who were part of one of the best bands in history, the time, was just another really, really great moment for me. I met a lot of other people. I don't know if you remember people like Cecil Holmes. He was the head of Casablanca Records back in the 70s. I hung out with him just about every day. One particular summer when I was working at the headquarters in New York, I met a lot of really, really incredible people. Just about every artist on the label, I've met them, as you can see from the pictures. But just movers and shakers, definitely at the top of the list would be Clarence Avant, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, Babyface, the Jacksons, a lot of great people that, I'm just really humbled to look back and say that I shook their hand and, got a hug or something.
All right. Also, now, speaking of your testimonies, your book, in your first book, you illustrate that this is what you got, several blocks in there of breaking it down to people about what can you expect out of these books. And you hit on so many tangible points that people sometimes really don't think about what is all applied in getting into the music as well as the music industry. You break down different parts and segments through your book. It's like a step-by-step guide for anybody who's looking to go to get a business mind I set, first of all, to getting into the school of knowing musical notes and scales. You're breaking down everything. That must have took a lot of you to put all that together. And believe me, your book ain't small. People don't realize it's over 300 something pages in that first and the second volume. So that means that is a monumental of information all coming from the mind of one set. You understand what I'm saying? So could you just
these are not 15-page books selling for $20.
Right.
I always chuckle when I see books that are very minimum page wise, but what can I do about that? All I can do is stay in my lane and do my thing. So I've been able to provide a wealth of information that I spent years, I'm literally years researching, documenting, writing, editing, all kinds of stuff, so that the reader can just sit there and in a couple of hours read through it without doing any work at all and walk away with a whole bunch of knowledge. So yeah, I've been able to get into the music industry from not just a fan level, but also from a level of, practical experience with playing instruments. I'm still not great at it, but I can understand the theory and kind of fumble around with keyboards and the bass guitar. But I think to really appreciate music, you should be able to, if not play an instrument, at least be able to know how to, put notes together, do arrangements, or even if you have to whistle to get an arrangement understood to a musician that can then play it. But definitely just being firmly involved with understanding how to make a music track will really put you deep into the art of creating music. And these days, not taking anything away from these beat makers of today that have mastered stuff like you know what I'm talking about, these programs that you can put together a track really quick. And for some reason,
the most popular is the FL Studio.
Yeah, Fruity Loops, exactly. That's exactly what I was trying to think of. But that's all fine and dandy, but I still think to have the best knowledge of music, you should be able to be at least semi old school with the ability to play an instrument, whether it's drums or keyboards or a horn or guitar, but some idea of how to organically make music. Even if it doesn't even plug in, if it's acoustic, it's even better because there's no electronics attached to that. And you have to rely on the traditional way that's been in existence for hundreds of years in order to play an instrument. And those are the people I really, really respect, because they had to take time to practice. And it's not always very easy to practice, whether it's an hour every day or several hours every day. But that shows commitment. And I applaud anybody that practice their crafts for hours and hours and hours. I sit and watch DJ Strong at the mixing board, and it's just incredible how fluid he works. He pulls up the Pro Tools, he pulls up plugins. He assigns tracks, he moves tracks around. That's another art form all in itself. But I tell you one thing, he would never have been able to do that if he did not have some love and commitment to making music.
I have a question. With everything being streaming now, how do you market? How you seen the marketing of the music from when you got into the business to the way it is now, with these different artists that are coming through and trying to push their music?
Well, it's a whole different ball game, because back when I was at Sony, my idea of marketing, which is completely different now, because back when I was marketing records, I say, hey, let's run some ads on V103, and we'll plug Luther Vandross and Earth, Wind and Fire. And they just came up with the money to do it. I said, hey, let's run a marketing plan with MARTA and get some posters in every bus and train in the MARTA system. That cost $30,000, but the company paid for it without questioning it. These days, it's all a whole nother ball game, where it's very ground level marketing on TikTok, Facebook, all the social media sites. It might not cost $30,000. All it might be is just being creative and getting your flyer or album cover, shared, circulating around the internet. The whole ball game has changed to be more of a networking, grounds up approach to getting the music out there, and it's just amazing that people can get out there. What's sad to me is that you have to have 100 million streams just to get $1. You know, I don't really understand that. I can't really say I really subscribe to that, but that's what it is. But you know, unfortunately, you know, that's where things have gone. But I'm all for the underdog. I'm all for trying to get, you know, stuff that might not have had a chance to get out there. I'm all for getting it out there, and I'm all for the little guy, you know, because the little guy is the one that's been most appropriately deemed to not succeed. But if he succeeds, he can hit it big and make it big. So the whole marketing game has changed. The format, or let's just say the template, is still basically the same. You want to get something that's unheard to the masses. And once you can do that, you will be able to enjoy a lot of airplay. So it's just a matter of how you do it, whether you have the money or you don't, but to be able to plug into a system or a network that, you know, gives your product some eyes and ears, you know, just like Malcolm X said, by any means necessary.
Okay. Now with the marketing changing, as you addressed, how easy is it for individuals just to be independent, not going with the big labels? And have you seen the change of the flow from individuals wanting to be signed to just going independent and staying independent?
Well, it's a little bit of everything, really. I still talk with artists that completely believe in staying with the major label because they've got the machine behind them to, you know, get the record out. The downside is they're going to take a larger chunk of your royalties. Back when I was at Sony, you know, the 360-degree deal did not exist, you know, and now it does exist, and it's actually considered the norm now. So the record label's hand is in every segment of your income stream these days. And you know, and that's only because they've lost a lot of capabilities as far as retailing at record stores. That's gone. You know, you've got downloads and stuff like that. I remember back in the day, there were ringtones that you could get money off of your song. And I don't even hear about ringtones anymore. But, you know, it's just a whole bunch of different ways to get paid. And record labels have now stepped up. And if you're selling T-shirts and caps, they want a piece of that money. Your concert sales, they want a piece of that. You know, if you got other stuff out there, you know, video games, they want a piece of that. They want a piece of everything. And it kind of reminds me of Goodfellas and the Mob. But, you know, that's just where it is right now. But personally, I would love to, you know, have a record label that we become partners with the music artists and not make them slaves. And we both work together to, you know, figure out a good way that they can get paid and we get, you know, something. We don't have to get 50% or 100%, but we should get something, you know, for being the channel that helps bring additional eyes and ears to a new artist or even to an established artist that's still trying to make it out there.
Can I add on? Can I add on to that real quick? Because LA, you made a really good point that I think went over a lot of people's head. If you control the product, you control the market. I'll repeat that again for our viewers. If you control the product, you control the market. Just to give you a quick example, and I'll let you get back to it, Josh Mel. When you mentioned the thing about ringtones, that went over a lot of people's heads. I know ringtones were a big thing back in the day. And I know we sold a lot of ringtones that we never got paid for because we put them up for sale. And a lot of people downloaded these ringtones. The reason that you said ringtones don't exist to this day is very simple. Once they figured out how to make money from the ringtones, we figured out how to make money from the ringtones. Once you control the product, you control the market. Therefore, you give the ringtones for free, but you charge for the application to create the ringtones for yourself. They tricked us with that technology. You understand what I'm saying? Sell us the app for minimal cost. You have the ringtone for free. Therefore, we can't price the ringtone like we want to price it for $199, because we sold ours to starting out was like $199 for a ringtone.
Mm-hmm.
And then we dropped the price down to 99 cents because it was a competitive market. Take away that 99 cent. Now we have to pay 99 cents in order to create our own ringtones on all of our digital devices. You control the product, you control the market. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I'm gonna let that sink in.
All right. Yeah, that's deep. Now, even with that, working with distribution and marketing, how is it? Is the distribution still the same since everything is streaming and everybody can use these different platforms, or they still have to go through finding a major with a distribution in order to have things pushed out?
Well, these days the playing field has shifted in such a way that almost anything can work if you got the right layout, whether you're first to create this layout or whether you've tapped into something that just simply makes sense. There's online distributors. When I worked at Sony, there were one-stop distributors, and those distributors, just in the old sense, were businesses that bought from all of the record labels, and I still kind of look at it as a racial thing. They sold to the black independent retailers, and that really pissed me off, that if you were a black retailer, you had to buy through a one-stop and you couldn't buy directly from the record label. So in my frustration when I was at Sony, I started putting a bug in my retailers' ears to create coalitions and get together collectively so that they could buy directly from the label. And it worked. By the time it was said and done with, a lot of these independent record stores, Third World, Bernard's Records, all these guys were, buying cohesively as a unit and were able to buy directly from labels. But that took a lot of fighting and a lot of time. And right after that, what happened? The internet came, file sharing came, and all these guys went out of business. And for most of them, if they didn't sell drug paraphernalia and posters and T-shirts and incense in addition to records, they wouldn't have even been in business. And, eventually a lot of them still ended up going out of business because, again, not only was records now being offered for sale on the internet, but so was everything else. Mm-hmm. So it's been an extremely difficult time for the independent retailer. And my heart goes out to them because, that was the community spot where a lot of local people in the community would come and look through and get records and talk and, interact with each other. And now that was taken away. So the internet has really made it a big shift in the industry, whereas, you get on your device and you order what you want and that's it. And you don't, I'm old school. I want to try on my pants before I buy them. I want to try those sneakers on before I buy them. So, but my son, every pair of sneakers he's ever had, he bought online and is comfortable with it. So, it's all a generational thing. It's all a technology thing. And all I can say as an older person is to grab a hold of the technology, because you never know whether it's going to, be around forever. Like when Pro Tools first came out, I come from the world of analog with reel-to-reel tape machines.
That's a plug. That's a plug right there, reel to reel. That's that plug right there.
that was my world. And then ADATs came. It was a small shift, but it was into the digital world. We still had to wait for fast forward and rewind, no direct access. And when Pro Tools came, I was like, well, I don't feel comfortable creating music by pointing and clicking with a mouse. So I didn't jump on that bandwagon. I monitored and watched everything. But in the end, I kind of sort of lost out because I could be like Strong right now, spending 20 hours a day in the studio, doing gazillions of projects. And because I'm not all that great with Pro Tools, I'm in there a minimal amount of time. And now I wish I was able to, master the art of Pro Tools, because I've been working on one song. I'm not even going to begin to tell you how long I've been working on it, but it was a remake of Marvin Gaye's song, What's Going On? Yep. And I've bounced from one studio to the next for a long time trying to get that song mixed and mastered and everything. But if I knew Pro Tools, I would have just sat there one night at the studio and gotten it done. So right now I'm behind the gun with it, and I hope things will change in the future. Hint, hint, DJ Strong, spending more time with you and getting some of your nuggets about it. But yeah, Pro Tools has managed to stay around, and it didn't fade away, and analog tape never came back.
Well, hey, LA, I could tell you, man, it's a gift and a curse, when you have certain abilities. And it just, I guess for me, it's the ability of comprehension, because I went to school for broadcast engineering once upon a time. But like you said, and here's another plug, I learned how to cut tape on reel to reel. That's how I learned.
That's 2 plugs.
Message.
You understand what I'm saying? Message. Yeah, that's how I learned, man. So you had to be precise, because you only get one opportunity to cut that tape one time correctly.
That's
if
right.
If not, you have to go back and re-record and do the whole take over and still cut it.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have enough tape or time, you only get one shot to get it right.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? That's the world that I come from.
Yeah.
So when you add on the new digital tools that are light years beyond what we were doing when we were cutting tape, it's all about precision to me. For me, I should say. You know what I mean? So if I can do it, you can do it. Like I tell anybody. And Pro Tools, I hope y'all pay the real to real for this plug. You understand what I'm saying? That was another message.
Another plug.
Another plug. But
we only talk about things that we truly endorse and we believe that help and benefit us in our production world.
Right. When during the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, they were able to market and have shows and concerts that went around through the country, and you had different festivals and events. How do you market these events and get on these up and coming artists? Get on these events and festivals without a machine behind them marketing and pushing?
It's really difficult, but with the right connections, you can still do it. I would say, try to be visible, in your market, because a lot of artists might say, hey, we're coming to San Francisco. Who's the hottest group in San Francisco? We want them to open up for us. So just doing your due diligence and being the talk of the town, being well known in your town, in your city, that'll help you a lot. And as well as knowing who the promoters are, so that they can know about you, so that you can ask them, to put you on the stage if someone's looking for an opening act. But you definitely don't go expecting to be the headliner, because that's just unrealistic. But if you could be humble at first, get on, even if it's just doing one song, get your name out there, do the legwork, talk to radio people. They still are accessible, because a lot of them do live remotes, a lot of them do club spots, they moonlight as DJs at clubs. Get out there, but the one thing that doesn't work is not networking. Right. You sit there and not network, and you ain't gonna be known by nobody. So you got to be aggressive, you got to be proactive, and you've got to be in touch with the people that are relevant. That's the only way I can see that things can happen, is just constantly plugging, getting that plug, being, at the right place, the right time, and not only knowing the right people, but having the right people know you too.
Right. Look, Mr. Jackson, I hate to have to cut this kind of short, but we would like for you to come back on so we can really dig into the musicology, your history, and everything else. that you have indulged in your career of music. If want to make sure that all our listeners get their notepads and their pens and everything, because that's old school, and not, you know what I'm saying, be on your phone typing it, but make sure that you write everything down, all the lessons that you have for them. So we want to extend the olive branch for you to come back onto the show, and we can really indulge into your background and your history when it comes down to music. You know, hopefully, you know what I'm saying, you'll be welcome to come. Like KY's always say, this is your second home, regardless of to whom or what. Whenever you have anything that you want to promote or put out there, we'll be right here waiting on you. But we'll be definitely looking forward to having a part 2 and being able to dig into your books, your journey in music, and where you're going right now.
It'll be my pleasure. KY's is family, DJ Strong family, and now my man, Mr. PhD, you family. So that's anytime, just give me some notice, give me a heads up when it's available. Mm-hmm. I always got something to talk about, so I'll always be happy to come back.
Also, I got this on notice. Hold on 1 second. Also, too, I want to thank DJ Strong for for coming out of his tight schedule. You know what I'm saying? To grace Real to Real 360 with his presence.
Don't go nowhere.
And with that being said, DJ KY's.
Yeah, yep. I got this public service announcement to make real quick.
Right.
Yeah, Mr. L.A. Jackson, we're gonna need you to be our judge, because we got, you know how they got fantasy football and all that stuff going on now. Well, we got a fantasy Livation Radio Network thing going on. So right now, our verses in a couple of, little while coming up will be the battle of DJ KY's versus DJ Strong on whose voice is deeper. So we're gonna have to get that battle.
Wow, that's gonna be a rough one, man.
Well, I don't think LA Jackson should be the one that do that by himself. I think if we can get the Lady of Soul,
musicology,
we get the Lady of Soul to be there with LA Jackson, Miss Pat, and let her and LA Jackson both sit there and discuss whose voice is actually deeper.
Wow.
All right.
Without that being AKYs, in order to have a versus, you have to accept the challenge. Hey, you are no competition, man.
Wow.
You're about 2 octaves lower than I am, bro.
Oh man.
You know what I mean? Unless I got a cold or something like that, then I might get at you. But other than that, no, you got the title, man. I'm no competition. No competition.
Yeah,
hey, Josh Jamel, from now on, Josh Jamel, I'm gonna speak in my tenor voice.
Right. Also, too, we want to take the time out and plug April 8th down in Fayetteville, North Carolina. We will be there with the Grooves and Old School Throwdown right there in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Make sure that you come out. You will have Brother Marcus from the 2 Live Crew. You're going to have Pastor Troy. You're going to have Miss Pat, Lady of Soul. You're going to have It's Karma. So this right here, April 8th, make sure you're in the building. Don't meet us there, beat us there, because we're going to be right there in the building as Real to Real 360 media team, and also, too, with DJ Strong in the building.
I'll be there, too.
Oh, LA Jackson will be in the building, too.
Hey, so be on the lookout. If I'm not mistaken, Bad Girl Shy. She's
Bad Girl Shy
in the house, too. So listen, you're going to have a plethora of artists, major artists out there doing the thing from Livation family and abroad.
So, that's right.
That's right.
This is what we do. It's all good and fun. We love one another. Thank y'all for coming on, Mr. L.A. Jackson, Mr. Musicology. Thank you. Big up to DJ Strong.
Hey, where can we find your book at? Where can we find
where can we find the book at?
Absolutely.
You can find the book on Amazon, but if you buy it at Amazon, you will not get the free autograph. I recommend lajackson.com, and you'll get a free autograph with it. And I'm trying to get some other resources available so that you can get it in a number of places. But the main place, my goal will be at lajackson.com.
Will you have some of your books on hand with you April 8th?
Oh, yeah. I'm waiting for some to land right now, and I'm going to be bringing them with me. I also worked on a project called The Atlanta Artists Against Gun Violence, and that's a great collection of great songs. I have some of those with me too.
All right. And also too, take about 5-10 minutes with the Real to Real 360 media team. We want to interview you at the show. So
absolutely.
DJ K Wise.
Peace. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, on behalf of my co-host Josh Lala, aka Mr. PhD, along with our special guest panelists, Mr. L.A. Jackson and DJ Strong. I, being DJ K Wise, salute you all for tuning in and listening, and stay tuned and lock with us. You can always reach us at realtoreal360@gmail.com. If you want to get in touch with me or Josh and Mel, you can hit us up there. Look for us on Twitch. Look for us on YouTube. Look for us on all platforms and media socialites alike. You know, we do this for you, and we want you to do this for us. The only thing we asking is support. That's all we asking for, support. Until then, peace. We are out. We love y'all. Maintain. And we'll see you when we see you. It's Real to Real 360 saying peace.
Peace.
Peace and elevation.